Good evening, everybody. It is 6:30 p.m. on May 1st, Wednesday, May 1st, 2024, and therefore we would like to call this meeting of the Hanson Conservation Commission to order. This meeting of the Commission is now open under the State Wetland Protection Act, Chapter 131, Section 40, and the Hanson Local Bylaw, Article 3-13, Section 5. This open statement will apply to business conducted at this meeting. And first in the procedure, this meeting of the Commission is being audio recorded for the record. Roll call, please. Lisa, Ed Hill, T.J. Roby, Bill Clemens,
Lon Woodward,
Frank Scallinger. We also have an associate member present. Thank you, Chris. We have 4 of our 5 commission members seated here, and that constitutes a quorum. We'll proceed. The first item on the agenda, excuse me, with a time on it, is 6:30 p.m. request for determination of applicability. And normally our clerk, Mr. Mansfield, reads the notice. This is a new hearing, so in his absence, actually I'd like to invite Vice Chair to read the notice of the hearing.
The Hanson Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, May 1st, 2024 at 6:30 p.m. at the Hanson Town Hall, Selectmen's Meeting Room, 542 Liberty Street, Hanson, Mass. Pursuant to a request for determination of applicability to Donna Tomatano. Parcel and project, a proposal to add an in-law apartment to an existing single-family dwelling within 100 feet of bordering vegetated wetlands at 422 Whitman Street, map 107, lot 10. Donna Tomatano, represented by Joseph Wilson, Estate Local Construction, Passion Lane, Mass. Filed in the National Protection Act, Mass. General Law, Chapter 131, Section 1040. The Town of Wetlands Protection Bylaw, 313, Section 5, and the Hanson Conservation Commission, Philip Clemens.
Thank you, Mr. Ropi. The floor is open to the applicants and their representatives. Please let us know what you'd like to do.
We're proposing an in-law apartment for the homeowner's mother. She's very sick. She can't go up and down the stairs now, so the daughter's trying to take her in and go to the apartment for her.
I believe we have plans here at this side of the table. I have a small and a large here, the same plan.
one of them is revised.
One was revised.
Yep, on the top, that's the revised
The
one.
last one?
Yep,
Okay.
so the big one's revised, yep. The bigger one is the revised one.
Okay. So, you see,
Do you have, I'm sorry? Do you have a pen?
perhaps you'd like to walk us through what's existing now, what's proposed, and make sure that we're...
You get the existing, we're proposing a tie into right next to the garage, a 25-foot by 30-foot addition, 1 story. Basic addition, nothing big, it just runs, it goes right in with the house, same line as the garage, so.
It appears that the existing leaching field is going to be relocated to what is proposed on this drawing here. So instead of being over in the neighborhood of where the work is going to happen and so on, it would be between the house and Whitman Street.
Yes.
No question about that. Where do we stand, where do you stand with regard to discussing that with the Board of Health?
We're in the planning process with the Board of Health right now, so
Okay.
we actually applied for the permit test and everything.
I'll anticipate something our agent usually says, which is that if, in the course of all that, the plans have to be revised,
Right.
we'd like you to come back and share the revision
Yep,
plans.
no problem.
There was an issue with the initial, this is Kenny Hanson.
Sure. Thank you, we have you on the record. Thank you.
Initially, I was given a plan by the homeowner for the septic design. The wetland line was outdated, so we had to have it flagged again, it's a new line. So on the plan that we have, it showed that he proposed to put the new septic, but I have not heard back from him. That's his final design.
Okay.
Sent him copies of the CAD and said, this is where everything is, that's what you're gonna do. He just said, thank you, and I haven't heard back.
Okay, so, moving to our jurisdiction, we'll simply wait here through the appropriate channels, how that goes. Well, we have a plan that shows a proposed addition that is almost, but not quite completely outside the 100-foot buffer zone. It seems to be quite distant from the 50-foot buffer zone. I don't see any indication about, the septic tank or pump or pipe, have any work being done there. Is there any work besides the addition that would be within either the 100 or?
Looking at the architect's plans, they show the deck there. That was a,
Yeah,
that was given us information on.
so,
Are they still doing
they're
that?
still planning on doing it, yes.
We have to show.
So, yeah, there would be a deck perhaps on the rear.
Yeah, the rear of the,
That's existing. Well, this is
it's going off the corner of the existing house.
Leaching field will be in the 50-foot buffer.
yes, this is the existing,
So that would work.
yeah, that's the existing tank, and supposedly there's a force line to go
And
over
that's
here.
within the 100-foot buffer, but the
Yeah.
new one does disturb the 50-foot buffer.
Yes,
Well, the new one, the new which?
The new leaching field. The pipe.
the new, they're using existing tank and they're going to put
Okay,
a
I
force
just
line.
didn't, see the word proposed
That's okay.
there, so, okay. Good to clarify.
Sorry, I missed it. Where are they proposing it then?
The deck would be
Okay.
on the back, extending over here.
Yeah, I can show you. So the deck is gonna be, yes, right here.
So it would be
Right at the back of the
Which
addition.
makes sense.
Yep.
Just, you know, it's like that.
Excuse me, are you Mr. Wilson?
No,
Are you Mr.
yes.
Wilson?
Oh, okay.
Well, in a minute, I'm not sure, I'm missing a discussion, but
In the plan that we received in the mail, we have this plan that they have of the house itself. in addition. Do you have that here in front of you?
I've got two plans in front of me, how many more do? What matters
I
is,
do have an architectural plan.
See the architect's plan that he has on his desk right
I do not have a plan that shows a deck, so I do not have an architectural plan.
Sorry, I
The building
just ripped it a little bit when I opened it up, so. That's the addition right here.
The line that goes, that's a new.
They do have an existing deck here, but they're just adding on.
So the existing deck is also not
Yeah.
shown on here.
Well, this is already gone, they already took it down.
Okay.
It's gone.
All
I
right,
did the field work, there was nothing. in it.
Yeah.
okay. One final question about the deck. This,
This is the existing house right here.
does this corner of the deck match the far distant corner of the
Yes,
house?
it's going to, yes.
So you'll fill in that whole corner?
Yes.
Well, he's pretty good sized deck, so that's great.
Yeah.
What I'll be asking in a moment is if our agent has comments that either echo what we're talking about here or go above and beyond. Any further questions from us here as a commission?
I just find it interesting that the deck is on the plan, of that.
Well, we are about to, I think we've heard a very informal discussion of that,
Yeah, they added the deck.
right?
So originally homeowner added.
Homeowner
the deck.
requested, okay.
Yes.
But they also took the deck down without a permit.
Well, the previous
I
deck,
don't even know if it was built, they had the ledger there from before, but that's it, so.
yeah, so the people before us aren't asking for anything in relation to the previous deck. We just are hearing that used to be one there. We're looking at,
But for the deck, I'm not gonna be doing any digging, we're gonna be using the diamond piers. So,
diving piers, educate us.
the diamond piers with the pipes that come out, they go down 4 feet, they're made for wetlands, so you don't have to do any digging. So,
Okay, well,
they're made to hold 2-story buildings and everything, so.
building department's fine with that.
Yeah,
We're, but we just, looks like there'll be, like, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, probably 8, probably 9,
I'd probably say 10 at least.
10 of those. And
And they just rust on the surface, or
Yeah, they typically, you dig them down, but
Oh, you do?
you take a look of the grass off, you put them on the ground, you get these 4-foot pipes that go down at 4 different angles, and that's it, that's the need to hold up the 2-story building, so.
well,
They just came out, that, I've been using them in wetlands and Quincy and Foxfield, so.
no, doing it all the time. It appears from the drawings that all of that would be outside the 50-foot buffer, but within 100, just about within 100. So that's just for the record. Let me ask our agent, Dr. Stellinger, regarding both the plans before us and the details shown thereon. Comments, thoughts?
I haven't seen this architectural plan, I don't know anything about the deck.
Okay, so we're all learning about the deck.
Yeah, the zoning has the plan with the deck on it.
Oh, we have zoning.
Let me see, so I understand where it's gonna be.
So you got your main house here that's already here, and then it goes from the corner of the house right to the back of the new addition, so.
This
New addition, yeah, that's the end, yeah, so.
So there's a piece, this piece is
That's
here,
that's
That
the existing
exists.
garage, yes.
and then the house is over here.
Yep, this is your main house,
Okay.
that's the garage, and that's the addition right there.
Okay, I get it, okay. So, we've asked for a, -3 determination. And I would recommend that, although we will have certain conditions added to it. One of them will be that there be erosion control, around the work, which isn't shown on the plan. So a limit of work would be behind the 50-foot line and around to the edge of the property in both directions. You'll need to approve a variance for working in a 50-foot buffer. Once they have installed the force main, the restoration will put it back to what it is.
Existing.
So there shouldn't be any impact on the buffer once that's done. The other conditions, other than some standard clauses, will be the homeowner has an expired order of conditions to build the back part of the house,
Okay, I know she's working with the.
and that has to be closed.
Right.
Another condition will be that the zoning board of appeals approves the in-law apartment.
Right.
And the third one will be that the board of health plan is approved. If this plan changes, she'll have to come back for a modification.
Yep.
Okay? So all of that is clear.
Question regarding that, while that last sentence is fresh in the air. Since the plans that were filed with us don't include the deck, they technically aren't complete. And what I'm thinking is, as part of the conditions we had set, is a full set of complete plans, including all details for deck, septic, erosion control location, et cetera, would be provided for our files.
Yep.
And on the basis that we will expect that, we probably can proceed. It's not a complex project, it's just a number of elements, and not all of them are on paper, but, so we love black and white on paper,
Yep.
but it protects all of us.
Nope.
So, there's certainly room for more discussion or questions. I don't know if there's anyone else in the room with comments or questions. but the chair would entertain a couple of motions. First of all, a motion to issue a variance to work within the 50-foot buffer zone for the project before us. Do I get such a motion?
So moved.
Moved and seconded, because we know that's an area that's already, it's probably lawn right now, so it's not a new thing. Move to the vote on that. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? 4-0. Motion to approve work in the 50-foot is approved. Chair would now entertain a motion to close the hearing and issue a negative predetermination subject to special conditions as we have just heard discussed. I'm sure we have captured those in the record. And while there's a handful of them, they're clear, right, all parties? And we will trust our capable staff to both document and follow through with you on that. So, entertaining a motion to close the hearing and issue negative determination subject to special conditions. Do I hear such a motion?
So moved. Second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? 4-0-0. So there's a little more ink to be spilled on the paper, and so on and so forth, but good luck, and let's see if we get some papers to sign this week. The hearing is closed, and we are signing the papers.
We did the minutes to, provided to clarifying what the buffers, avoiding the protection and all that stuff.
Yep.
Once we get all the paperwork and everything, I'll make copies and everything and send them out. Do you want it sent to you or to Dawn?
Send them to Dawn.
Okay, you can go to the registry.
Emails or.
Okay, that's what I figured I'd ask, because I did talk to
And
her.
I'll go over it with her.
And the wet
Okay.
regulations and all this, so he has it, but I haven't heard back from him, so I don't know if he's designing or redesigning or what.
Seems hard to get over.
Well, I just told him when you have it done, send it back to me so I can stamp it and go.
Busy man. Busy man. Does that?
He had to return you, they had to talk to your clients.
Does that?
I said that. I know. Well, I have to recuse myself because of the complaints filed. He's going to be, he will be fined for surveying a lot of license. That is what I'm. Okay, and we'll see that.
Yep.
Thank you.
Bye, Ken.
Okay.
Bye, Joe. Yeah, we'll be talking to you.
Take care. You do that, I'm also going to hand back myself for that.
Okay, come on.
All right, folks, that's all set. The next thing on our agenda is 6:45 continued request for determination of applicability. Details before us. This is a hearing that has been opened. It was continued till today, this day at this time, per request and agreement of the applicant and the commission. For the record, your chair, which I'm now speaking of, received notice as an abutter to this project, so I will recuse myself from this duration of the hearing, and I'll be available right outside. But I would like to turn the management of the meeting here over to our vice chair, and we've got a quorum of 3, so we'll proceed on that basis.
I'm ready.
See you soon.
Okay.
Gary Wright from Blank Planning, on 115 Main Street.
Gary, we're disappointed.
What's that?
We're disappointed.
You're disappointed.
Yes.
Why is that?
Where's Norman?
Yes, Norman. He's gonna come down for Grafton for a meeting with you, crazy?
Does he really exist?
He exists, yes. So he's
Okay.
like, can you cover this one for me? So, all right, my wife broke her hip last
Oh,
week.
no.
You know, so.
Oh, no.
No. So what we have is our existing building, and, 101 Main Street, right next to the railroad tracks, across from the old, depot train station there, the red train station, right next to Dunkin' Donuts. And we currently have, if you're facing our building on the left side, a drain that comes out about bulkhead, subsurface drain that goes back to the catch basin, our back corner that outfalls back in the wetlands from our original design. And in our cellar, what we're having is about 20 foot from the floor, we're having a water breaking through a cinder block front wall coming in from the fact that the whole area is filled probably at one time in the wetlands. So to try to remedy this, we wanted to put in a trench drain to connect to our existing drain line and run it as far across the front. We have a handicap ramp, concrete ramp out there, so we have to go outside of that, and we're going to run it all the way up to the water line going on to serve that with the gas line. So just to see if that will remedy the situation. It'll be like 2 foot. It's probably going to end up being like a 4 foot trench by the time you dig it out and get somebody down. You got to put a pipe in with some stone, and hopefully that alleviates the water that's coming in. So we, it comes in the cellar, and we actually have a little channel that runs along the foundation and drain out the drain. Maybe this will slow it down and stop it before it gets to that point. So we have pavement out in front, handicap parking space next to the ramp, and then the pavement coming down that's part of one of our entrances that we'll dig up. And we have some silt. So was he using a silk sock, or is he using a straw wall barrier? We'll put on the pavement, keep anything from coming down and running down onto the driveway and then to the catch basin. Second, this thing would be a very quick one-day thing. Dig it, drop the pipe in there, and fill it back up, and got a patch afterwards with the pavement. And as you can see, where the 100-footer goes to part of our building, and the 50 is back in the parking lot. So we probably have about 100 square feet of still within the 100-foot buffer. And we're just trying to go with see if we go with the RDA.
So the area you're digging up now is paved?
Correct. Yeah.
You're gonna pave it when you're done.
Oh, yeah. That's it.
At a different level, or is it gonna be exactly the same?
Oh, be the same. It's fairly flat. It does slope it to the back, but it's gonna be the same, because we'll make sure that we still drain that's the catch basin in the back corner.
Any questions from the commission so far?
I'm just not understanding the idea of the project.
Okay.
That might just be me. You're digging up this trench,
Yep.
gonna put stone and a pipe in it, and then repave over it. How is the water gonna get into that trench?
It's all the groundwater that's coming in.
The groundwater is to the side of the foundation, so if it's trying to redirect it around.
This is not, okay, rainwater. This is
Yeah, that's
groundwater.
groundwater.
Okay, got it.
I think it's coming from below, so. If that doesn't work, the next thing is to fill about 5 inches of cement in the cellar. To try to come up it that way, so this is the first deviation. Hopefully this does. Back when we did this, 1997, when we redid this building for ourselves, it was perfect. It was done in little things wrapped around. It was thinking that wrapping on this side was going to be enough. Didn't realize it's actually something's coming from Main Street underground.
Okay. I have no other questions.
Dr. Challenger?
I have no comments. I'd say go ahead, prove a -3.
No work within the 50-foot area, correct?
Correct.
And once there's no work beyond the new Y you're putting in to replace the old.
Right.
There are no members of the public present, so there's no public comment on the project. If anyone has anything else, the vice chair would entertain a motion to close the hearing and issue a -3 determination subject to. Are there any special conditions?
The usual standard set.
To issue a negative determination subject to the usual conditions.
So moved.
Second. Seconded, any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. 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 Opposed? Abstaining? Motion passes 3-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll give them.
$40,000. How much? To bring the floor up and fix it inside, and waterproof it, so.
Oh, a waterproof it, so you say you got $40,000 for it?
No, waterproof.
Hopefully,
Hopefully, just stop the water.
I just had a $20,000 project about a year ago with, water coming through my basement wall, so.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, sucks.
Yeah.
I don't want to jinx myself.
I'll leave a couple for them. Fine.
Oh,
You want them back?
They're only going to
All the water out of the house.
Are you sure you don't want?
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you, folks.
Monroe Street, right off the buffer.
Say hi to Norman.
So, White Street, school, just like, you know, the guy next to me.
Bye. So I'll mail the stuff out, yeah. Want me to mail it to you?
Yeah.
Or Norman? Okay, all right, okay. Have a good day.
Almost lower than.
Guy next to me, I'm gonna have a raid, I swear, like every couple hours, I hear something.
Ken's out there.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
There's a hill on both sides, and he's right at the bottom. So like all groundwater goes directly to his basement.
Yeah, my house is closed.
I thought I was saying, but they take into account all the groundwater, it's pumping
Back.
I told them. We're done. Ken's out there. Ken, Thompson's out there.
I mean, he's on the same street, he's like, you know.
Oh, he's got land behind it. Still a piece of land behind it, piece of it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He's been notified about it.
Yeah, no, I didn't realize the other people were in there.
Yeah.
'Cause I know he's down by where the ghosts are.
I don't know where it is. I know it's back there a little ways. So.
Clever, said they had long fingers.
We're gonna go,
Yeah,
go to second warning.
These are, he's coming back, right? He's on the same street, just gonna
Yeah.
carry on. I didn't know.
Oh, you probably can, yeah.
I don't know about that street, he's on every damn. I mean, for me, it's not.
You're like, or else.
Oh, am I good to come back in? Yeah, you can come back. You coming back?
I just told him we were done, yeah.
That's your dog on the thing, right?
Yeah, it's Joe.
Oh, this is it, yeah, like, I don't know who else.
That's at the camp. It's like at the little balcony, but Sticker Mule had a promo. So I was like, what can I use for a picture? Kinda cool. He can be our little, conservation dog.
Well, until they said the dog is, I just assumed it was Bella, and I took a look, I was like, oh, wait, that's not, who's that?
No, it's not my dogs.
You get two?
Yeah.
I just got the one,
For a 9-month-old puppy.
Oh, it's a lot of work.
He's a handful.
It's just like having a kid.
9-month-old,
Yeah.
55 pounds.
How old is, what is he?
big boy.
65 already?
What are you, 55?
55?
What's the breed?
We call him a poodle.
You've been.
Half Wheaton Terrier, half poodle.
A poodle? I gotta see what it looks like.
Oh,
Kinda like a Bernedoodle?
They come up with it.
I gotta see.
Mine's football, but.
They're mixing poodles with everything now.
20 breeds of those.
Promiscuous dog.
I know, the poodle?
Well,
Oh.
you used to just call it a mutt, now it's got a name.
I did, they have dog DNA test now, I did that on mine. She
Oh.
has something like 14 or
That's the
15
baby?
breeds.
That's the puppy, yeah.
Big. Fresh. They like to watch, she likes
You
the
go out
water.
coffee every now
Oh, yeah, they're so cute.
Sorry, to
TJ's like, I'm going out there for a second warning.
Let the record show that at 7:01 PM, Chairman Clemens rejoined the commission.
Sure. Our agenda has probably, correct me if I'm wrong, brought us to the point where we have achieved our scheduled hearings, and we need to now move to other items, perhaps starting with the minutes of April 17th. And they are in our hands, and the chair is open to what the members would like to do.
Did you get a copy again, or did you just get a copy of the email?
Just the email. I just got to them, yesterday.
I would move we approve the minutes of April 17th, 2024 as drafted.
Motion to approve the minutes of May 17th, April 17th. Do you want a second?
Oh, those two were out, so,
Oh,
No, I wasn't here.
Okay.
yeah.
Well, I was here for that meeting, and I will tell you the minutes look fine. Am I allowed to second a motion?
You
Then I do that. Second. And we shall now move to the vote. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, abstained?
Are we okay to say aye?
I think you recused.
Yeah, abstaining.
If we abstain, we don't have.
Okay, yep.
No, you count the abstention.
When people are absent at a meeting, but have had a chance to catch up on paperwork, such as is necessary to confirm what happened at the meeting, I think it's all right for them to
You
vote.
want to vote?
But this is a fairly benign set of minutes.
But also, they're here to cast a vote.
Yeah, abstaining is not for people, I'm in the room.
Well, we are, I think we have just approved the minutes of April 17th, and we will proceed. There is a discussion item, which is a request for minor modification. I will turn to our agent for the facts we laid out before us and his recommendations. Excuse me.
You have the plan in front of you. The property is 77 East Washington Street. If you know where the Cushing house is at the foot of Liberty, it's the new house next door. The property was bought by an Asian couple, and the application has been made by Ms. New Tom. She brought me into the property to point out some trees that she wishes to remove. Some are dead, some are threatening to the house. So I told her that in order to apply, she could use the existing open order of conditions, which built the house and the septic system, and treat it as a minor modification. And so I'm offering it to you as a minor modification to the existing order.
It looks like, based on the drawing before us, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 trees that are being, whose removal is being requested. Excuse me. Given their height, and one is dead, one's leaning, and those sorts of things, whether we approve the modification or not, the trees may someday modify themselves. And it's the sort of thing that proactively all across the landscape, people are seeking to reduce the risk to their homes, et cetera. And
It
this
should
is
be
probably
clear,
one of
it
those.
should be clear to you that all these trees, all but one of these trees is within the 50-foot buffer.
It's
Yes.
close to wetland.
Yes, within the 50-foot, yep.
How tall are these trees? They have to be at least 60 feet tall to front the house.
Yes.
They're very large.
Yes.
Pine,
What about the one that's like really far up to the top of the thing?
The one at the back of the house,
Yeah, the one on as seen on the map here, the one that's the highest red dot. That is if using the scale, that's going to be a 75-foot tree just at the top of it, crush the house.
well, she lets her daughter play in the backyard. She's afraid for her dog. The tree's about 100 feet tall.
Is it in ill health?
Pardon me?
Is it in ill health? When the trees not just fall down and like
Yes.
you see play in a hurricane?
Yes, it's not in the best of health.
I would say this about that too, although I have a question first. Pine trees or other trees or mixture of species,
There are no pine trees.
they're not pines, they're
They're not pine
hardwoods,
trees.
okay.
Yeah,
They're prob-
the one of the questions, they're like 10 feet off the west. They're well within the buffer.
On the other hand, I would say, it's a simple fact of life that, whether the wind is blowing up, especially when it's blowing up, winds do come down. I was, doing delineation down here at Silver Lake not too many years ago when my sister and I were in business together. And, she was actually struck by a limb that came down. Of course, it was small, but it was, these things do happen. And let me ask this, other than these 6 trees that are being measured, how is the vegetation overall in this piece of property?
It's well vegetated.
There are other trees probably just less tall.
Yes.
And they're live and healthy.
Right.
Seems to me personally, not speaking here, but just as a member here, that this is the sort of thing that we have been getting and will continue to get requests for that should be looked at carefully. But since the agent has looked at it, we're hearing that these trees are not in the best of health, and there is a yard there in which children play. And since there are plenty of other trees which, again, seems very likely, will just continue happily growing, it might not be asking too much. Just looking around for other thoughts, but again, it's definitely within the zone. The question, we're glad you had the question asked, rather than people just doing it.
Legal stars.
Yeah.
Because they're literally like 10 feet off, or not even 10 feet, like less than 10 feet.
Yeah, that would be a good point. Leaving stumps and not disturbing the ground by grinding them out or removing them some other way.
Well, especially considering if these are 60 to 100 foot tall trees, they're going to go into the wetland.
And stumps have wildlife count.
Yeah.
They're great.
But there's no way, you ever see the removal of a stump that big?
Yeah, it's Tom, you had a question.
Frank, could you clarify the woody debris that she wants to remove at the rear?
Good point.
At the back of her property, right about where the posts are, do you see the CPs? Those are the conservation posts. The people that built the house left a pile of logs about this big and about log length, say 12 or 15 feet long, and a pile of slash that she'd like to have that removed. I said that would probably be a good thing.
It's not a value to
It's not value to
It sounds like that's extremely sizable logs, which many land clearing people remove and put into the forestry economic chain. take them to,
They look like they were dead
mhm.
and just left to rot, and they're not
Not real
very-
valuable.
Well, they would take
Not very-
probably years.
They're not very valuable and they're not very aesthetic.
Given the size of those things and the size of the trees that are coming down, number one, and she expressed a plan for what to do with the trees once they're no longer standing, but laying there, how they will be dealt with, both the brush and the logs themselves.
The removed trees,
Yeah,
no, they go away.
okay. I wonder what kind of equipment will be needed to do that. Excuse me, whether it will be damaging to the,
It'll be a crane.
with a long reach.
So the crane will be outside the 50-foot buffer?
They'll put the crane on the driveway.
The driveway that's paved is just barely outside the 50. The tree that's way out back though, so it is a long way away.
But that, I mean, typically the way these guys operate is they go up with the crane and clamp on the tree, cut it, take it out altogether, and then
Takes the tree over the
dispose
house,
of
wherever.
Right, and when you have a tree with significant limbs and things, they have a climber, both and limit as it goes, and as they describe it, turn the tree into a toothpick.
Mhm.
And then, starting with the top, the toothpick pieces are removed.
Yep.
I've seen that done. It may,
Well, so, this is still an open order of conditions.
yes,
This is a minor modification to it.
yes,
She'll be back to us for a certificate of compliance.
right.
So if there's any issues that were to come up with the vegetation or ground condition as a result of the tree removal, she'll be back.
right,
And we will condition this modification to leave the tree not as a stump on the ground, but leave it up.
Will we give a suggested height off the ground?
I think we could probably leave that to the tree removal company. They do this all the
Usually
time.
they go as close to the bottom.
And they will probably be well supervised by the landowner, so there'll be some logical choice. I don't know if we could want to micromanage that. My thought. So,
Follow.
It's typical to leave it at 8 feet.
8? That high?
But I've seen them cut it down to a foot or lower.
Or,
That's why I'm wondering if we want to suggest something.
That's why we'll condition it.
Yeah.
We'll tell them 6 to 8 feet, leave it. Don't pull the stump and don't grind it.
and by the way, and now I'm talking about that micromanaging, if it's 6 to 8 feet tall, it might be a good place to put a birdhouse.
Follow-on question. Does the original order of conditions have a variance for work in the 50-foot buffer?
Ooh, I don't know.
Do we need to vote on it if it doesn't?
By the way, while that question hangs in the air,
Are we allowed to vote a variance
The-
as part of a minor modification?
the house and its appurtenances, in 3 places, at least 3, maybe 4, it is right smack on, maybe even kind of crossing 50-foot buffer.
Yeah, my guess is there was
Yes.
a variance request. We
There must have been, because,
we can certainly verify that.
Yeah.
well, the new stone retaining wall goes well into the 50-foot buffer, so.
Yeah.
If there wasn't, we dropped the ball on that one first time around.
In view of,
So presuming with that,
Well, they also had to clear.
right, they had to clear property, they had to do some maneuvering around to do the construction of the house. You can't build a house with 10 inches space between you and the buffer line, without,
Yeah, we'll verify that, but my gut was that
in view of all of the above discussion and the request, the chair would entertain a motion to approve a minor modification to the plan, including all the details discuss regarding, tree management, et cetera.
So moved.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? 4-0-0. We know it will be well supervised. Thank you in advance to our staff. So there's that. Moving on, we have, excuse me, a bit of a list of other topics here. Is there anything to say about Whitman Hanson National Honor Society Community Servicing? That may be something that Dave was managing. And there was a list of any number of things they could do along the Blind Hill Trail and perhaps other things there that we could leave in his capable hands, so I'm not concerned about that. The next item, USDA NRCS Phragmites funding. Do we have anything to say about that, and looking at the staff?
The contract was sent to us from the USDA, Jasper,
Yep.
our contact, and they have offered us approximately $7,500 in each of the 2 fiscal years coming. So about $15,000.
So FY '25 and FY '26?
Yes. But the federal regulations require that the contract be signed by the town administrator.
Mm-hmm.
And it has a number of clauses attached to it as part of the contract. So I gave it to Lisa and prefaced it with the idea that she might want to have town council look at the contract. So she is doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So I expect that I'll hear from her after the town meeting.
That makes sense. And since that the fiscal year '25 isn't going to begin for another almost 2 months, that should give them time to look it over, and we'll be in good shape to do whatever. That's good news. $1,500 for $15,000 rather for work that we know needs to get done.
We are asking for $7,500 at town meeting to do the Phragmites work as needed. And this is a reimbursement contract, so we would have to spend that in order to get it back.
Yeah. The good news is, provided all the paperwork is in order, it's a guarantee that we would be reimbursed. That's something we'd be able to say on town meeting floor.
Yep.
Good. Speaking of town meeting, the May town meeting warrant in our hands, the special and the annual, I believe. I know that the staff has informed me of a number of things related to it. Do we have, is there anything that rises to the level of needing discussion tonight? Because this is our last chance before a town meeting to have any discussion.
The Phragmites one was
20 which?
27? 27, page 33. See if the town will vote to transfer from free cash or raise and appropriate $15,000 to eradicate invasive Phragmites as soon as possible. We added to Article 26 of the May 2023 annual town meeting or take any other action in relation there.
It's interesting to see the Finance Committee voted for and not to recommend it in view of the fact that we're going to be reimbursed.
They didn't know that.
Okay, that is key, yeah.
They had,
Definitely stand up and defend that.
That's what I'm wondering, if that's why I was asking, because somebody needs to talk about the mechanism.
I think that in a way that sort of anticipates what the frequently asked questions will be. We can, in presenting the article, if I'm the one that's doing it, would say, in the explanation, I would take a short breath and then say that point before everyone has a chance to really ask.
yeah, but we didn't know we would get reimbursed for this one.
But these are new developments which are very welcome to our ears.
Yep.
I mean, as soon as you tell everybody this is free, they're just gonna go, yes.
Well, the idea is, it's work that needs to be done. The landscape will suffer if we don't do it. We won't live up to our USDA commitments, but USDA is a partner willing to pay for it, so all good. That,
We have 7 people left in town meeting by the time we get to that.
Yeah.
well, let's just continue to.
Thank you.
The votes look odd, because select board voted to place at 5-0, and voted to recommend 4-0. The problem was, I was there at the meeting when they placed it, but not when they recommended it.
We understand that math is simple enough, I can grasp that, so
Yeah.
thank you for that information.
Did you enjoy your vacation?
It was awesome.
There you go. So you
I got sick on a boat, so.
Well,
That was the first thing.
two ways of vacationing, a recommended way and a not recommended way. Asking the room, anything else to look at article-wise? I know that there's that. We can get paper cuts going through the whole thing, but I trust that we have discussed and planned everything we need to. I know I'll look this over in more detail between now and Monday, but staff have any thoughts, or are we good?
I think we're good.
Okay. Take that as good.
We'll just hope that we don't get opposition to the revote on the,
Oh, yeah.
in the work
It's
credit.
It's difficult when human limitations cause mistakes to be made in land areas, but there was only one right way to do it before, and now there's only one right way to correct it, and we're seeking that way.
Did you guys want to do a pamphlet or anything? I put this on the Facebook, I just wasn't sure.
In other words,
You know how we did a flyer?
yeah, we had a,
It was more of a breakdown of what we were spending. This is just showing an update of what we've done.
Yeah,
I just
so
wasn't sure. Up to
our,
you guys. I have time to
our capable staff is
print it
throwing
out.
out the idea of, do we wish to have a modest, if it's just something, this could be single sheet of paper,
Yeah.
2 sides, showing recent work and illustrations thereof.
Where's this work on the first page? What,
This is the newest piece of trail at the Last Meadows, the extreme northern end. There is, well, it's just roughly done right now. There is now actually a trail connecting to the edge of the pond, because we have about 100 feet of pond frontage there. Thank you, Chris. I can see your picture in here. You must have done a few things. along with Steve.
What a handsome guy.
Yeah. The lumber looks good, and the guys aren't too bad. I like the idea of having a single-page, double-sided handout.
Okay.
Very much on this idea that gives an update.
Okay.
I don't want to have a lot of town resources go into producing another bunch of books, but that would be very simple to do.
Okay. So,
As long as it identifies itself, maybe slightly larger print at the top, so people say, oh, conservation.
Okay.
That will, I think,
I know, I was
support.
on it. Okay.
our part of the, shall we say, budgetary ask.
Okay. Sounds good. I'll do that. 200, you think?
I would,
200?
150.
150. 150, all right.
It all depends, marijuana on the bill.
All right, I'll do 150. I'll do 150.
Oh, okay.
The override may fill the room, but also
Okay.
might fill the whole timeframe.
Mhm.
So that's the May town meeting warrant.
Okay.
National Grid Electric Service proposal for 368 Indian Head Street, Old Pump House. I see a request number on it. Where are we at with this, long desired project? We asked the staff.
We signed it. Yep. Lon sent it out. I think we got an acknowledgement, didn't we?
Acknowledged by the vendor?
I didn't get anything yet,
You
no,
didn't get anything yet?
but I did it certified, so.
Okay,
we get-
so we've gone through the whole process internally and with the powers that be and, the vendor, and we just wait the vendor to acknowledge they got the request and we'll go for it.
I thought there was a response where they said they would send us the invoice.
Oh, I didn't get that.
Maybe
You-
I got
You might have got it.
Maybe I got
I know I left them a voicemail, so maybe you got that.
Well, let's keep this on the
Okay.
agenda until the work is
You wanna
actually
keep it on?
done.
Okay.
And that sounds good.
Keep going.
Yeah,
All right.
I think they're gonna wanna be paid first.
Oh, such a world.
Okay.
Moving on, conservation property list. I know a little while ago, our agent and staff conscientiously put together a list of properties, something like 30 or so, where the deed was not yet done. And we were going to look at it and prioritize. I actually finally did spend time on it, and only found myself a little bit rushed. I'm going to hand to the staff this 2-page thing, which I called Conservation Property List Comments, May 2024,
Awesome.
with my initials on it.
Okay.
It comes down to this. Staff did an awesome job of listing the property. I actually added a reference column on the left. A column was 1 through 30. So he's going to say, which property are you talking about? Oh, I say, number 27, and go right to it. And I enlarged a little bit comments on it. I did put down where I knew about what it was, how many acres it was, as well as the size, as well as the location. Crooked Place, for example, is about 5 acres. Elm Street, Smith House, Elm Street property is about a little over 100. And I also put down, and I got to bold it all, but whenever a piece of property was a named conservation area, like Smith House, LC, or Brian Gaffey, make sure we put that in there. So as we discuss it or defend it to anyone else, we know what we're talking about. And most of the ones that are high, I completely agreed with, and I added a few more. The ones that, in terms of high prioritization, Frank had already listed the Smith House Elsie as being high priority. So that's just with the basic trail and parking and it's large and everything else. High priority to get that nailed down. The 5 acres at Crooked Place, myself, I elevated it from moderate to high because I think besides being a strategic access for the Bay Circuit Trail, we hope sometime in the next fiscal year to enlarge that by adding the Hubble property. So instead of just 5 acres, it would be 50 acres. And so I think we want to have our starting point very secure there. I also, right below that in the list, the next one down, it's a small parcel on Main Street, right next to Plymouth Brook. I changed that from whatever it was before to high, in my opinion, because that has street frontage on Main Street, river frontage off Plymouth Brook, and it's a potential canoe launch access point. For several decades, the canoeing public has been talking to me about that, but there's been so much uncertainty further upstream with the water department land and the other parcels. We just didn't pursue it. But I think that corridor, that river corridor, would be well served if not only at the upper end, where we have West Washington Street properties down here, if it was possible for an intrepid canoeist to go the length of it and be able to take out at the other end. So just my thought, it's small, but it's in a very strategic spot.
So, just to clarify, not everyone was here last meeting when we talked about this.
Okay.
This whole list has been sent to the select board already.
That's my question,
It's the list that we gave Ed previously when he asked for a list of properties to take to the select board.
Yep.
It has been sent to the select board chair with a memo, which was to essentially go twiddle your thumbs.
Was it? I don't know that. Is that true?
Was it what?
Was it replied to, like, go twiddle your thumbs, sort of?
She said, they'll get back to it after town meeting.
Okay, I wasn't sure what
Yeah.
the exact response was, but if it was after town meeting, yeah, it's equivalent to that, but it's not dismissive.
It didn't say after town meeting, it said we'll get back. There's no promise to get back to it after town meeting.
Priority, so like priority
And
of
there
town
was a-
meeting.
There was a open-ended requirement placed by the select board chair to forensically verify all of the town meeting votes, whatever that translates to.
Look them up and read them.
Yeah. So,
That would need to be done as part of this anyway. That's a given that they would confirm that it's,
Yeah, verify that this has actually been voted on.
yeah. Unfortunately, I was not in either meeting.
At, I think, the most recent meeting at which the issue came up, we, as a commission, said, some of these things are higher priority than others. And we wanted to identify them, and that's what we've done.
correct, but the goal originally was to try and get one recordable instrument for all of these properties. Have we verified that the select board will not do that?
They have spoken to it in no way. We do not have any response along those lines.
Was that the request that was signed by us, was to do one instrument?
No, we have had discussion along those lines, but we did not make
I
a
don't think
written.
that's the formal request, no, that was the hoped for goal,
Right.
was that we would be able to do that.
If, and I think to that very point, if it were perceived by the select board or the town administrator or town council that was too complex of a thing to ask, we are prepared, I think, because we've said this, you know what I mean, to say, if we had a short list, we had perhaps 1/4 of these things, if we asked that an instrument be made to handle a small number of these that are hard, could we do that?
I agree with that, but these all need to be done. I mean,
Oh, yes,
those
they are all to-do items. There is town meeting votes that have not yet been lived up to by the town leadership.
If they go back to 1965, or am I
Sure,
reading this?
some of these things were bought in 1965 or conveyed.
Am I reading this right? I thought I heard you. We do not own Smith Malkowski, or is that just the area near it?
It has not been, let me put it this way. As far as the town action goes, the town did not execute a thorough enough deed to make sure it stays conservation. I did put in here though, that is protected by a conservation restriction held by the Massachusetts Department of Fish and Game. So it's safe in that
Just to
sense.
kind of hit the highlights, Smith Malazowski, the last Meadows, the Sleeper Reservation, the Town Forest, Thomas Mill, and at least part of Bryan Gap
Yes,
are all on the list.
yeah, that's what I'm saying, yeah.
Are we gonna get a copy of your?
Yeah, I think so. I just wanted to double check a few things for the staff first, because I had to rush the last week. Also on this list, which TJ just ran down very correctly, is the Brook Street properties. The ones that are, one of them still in process. There's another comment I put in here about the Indian Crossway property and the Sleeper property. I had some very useful and productive discussions with Joan Pierce at Mass Wildlife, and she offered some things which we either have received or in the process of receiving. One is all of the surveys and deeds that you could ask for regarding the Hubble property, which is going to help us tremendously in our application for that. But also, regarding the Crooker Place area, there's a driveway that's entirely on conservation land that goes to the private house, which was bought within this past year. What the state does, according to John, what the state is, they have an arrangement by which they issue a license to the private property owner to use and reuse such and such a driveway in such and such terms. And the terms of that license give confidence to the property owners that they can continue to access their property, but also the things that the town whose land it goes over, state in that case, their rights are protected. People, in other words, they know where the boundaries are, and they respect them following this license. I thought that was a pretty useful sounding tool. I look forward to receiving it to see if we wish to propose such a license for this new owner of that property, but also to protect us as a town, as a commission, so they don't mess up on our land. And if that works out as feasibly as it sounds, it would, we could use the exact same approach for the street of the property on the Pond Street. There's the exact same thing. There is a privately owned house without street frontage further back with a paved road that goes over conservation land. They have expressed concern about it. We certainly want the right kind of boundaries to be set. A license agreement that's very clear regarding their rights and concerns and ours could be the way to go. So I look forward to that as a management tool. I think the questions of when and if and when they would get to this, it hangs in the air and will hopefully be addressed after town meeting. But Frank and Lon, I want to just go over what I provided. This is just a thumbnail sketch to have everyone remain aware of what's going on. The project is on the list, and we'll keep it on the agenda until we know more.
Well,
Do we want to actually?
if the others have a copy of it, they could also comment. There's no reason why you can't comment on this list.
Right. I mean, I'm not the only one commenting, but we want other people to comment too. We just wanted to, I just couldn't stand a few things not being added to the list, so I've done that. Not adding items, but adding new verbiage.
So we're gonna have this list that is more complete, and but we've already handed a similar list over to the select board.
Right.
And we're hoping they just do the right thing.
This exact list was given to Laura,
Right.
sent to Laura on March 26th,
So
with a signed memo from the board.
what you're doing is in addition to that,
It's adding information to some of the columns. It doesn't change the list.
is this gonna be sent to the select board at a later date?
So I'll just say this, if it comes to a point of needing to pare down the workload by assigned priority, we'll work into it. TJ, your thoughts?
Right, we're making, for lack of better terms, a battle plan for it, the select board comes back and says we can't do all of this at once.
Okay. Well said.
Laura's specific response was that they need that town council confirm that this action needs to be taken, that they would need to go back and forensically confirm that each of these properties were in fact voted by town meeting to be held in the care and custody of conservation. This may take a little time to accomplish, particularly since we're in the midst of preparing for our annual town meeting, which takes priority over everything else. That said, we will be sure to give this the proper attention as soon as we are able.
So we have a working list. They're aware, we're aware, on we go.
So I think we want to keep this on the agenda.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say at our next meeting, if we haven't heard anything, we could start to consider a follow-up to ask if town council has at least been contacted to confirm.
Yeah, we want an update on the project.
Right, because I understand the town clerk's up to her eyeballs right now, as is everybody else involved in town meeting.
The good news
But
is,
if we can at least verify by the end of May that this project has been given to them, because forensically verifying town meeting votes is gonna have to come from the town clerk's office. Confirmation from town council is gonna have to come from town council.
Mhm.
If we can at least verify by the end of May that those people have been made aware of this.
the project is on their radar.
Yeah.
Thank you. May it be so. Open space and recreation plan. There is a new communication link between us and the town planner's office, and I think there's some draft helpful documents here in our hands. Just because there's so many documents here, so I'm just going to look at this one here.
And this is that list that shows the earmarks. I had asked them for it.
Right now, I can only think about OSRP. I can't think about earmark.
Okay,
I don't know
Yeah, that's property management.
how to handle
okay,
that.
we'll do that under property.
Okay.
Okay,
So this is a proposed, it's a draft or something, it's per Tony's request, because he's looking for money to get the OSRP written. we're saying these words, and we all have it, May 2nd, and I'm skimming it now for the first time myself. One thing I would say is the open space and recreation plan is not just for conserving wildlife habitats, protecting resources. Okay, I think it's got provide improved recreational opportunities. That includes active recreation too, because things like sports fields acknowledged in the open space and recreation plan. One thing, and I need not change the wording of this letter here, I think, we would like the plan, when it gets developed, to be so approval ready that when the state accepts it, it doesn't need 1 or 2 more years worth of work on it. In other words, we want to be able to have the full 7 years of coverage that this plan legally would provide. The last plan, they accepted it tentatively, but we worked on it for 2 more years before it was fully accepted, and that over 5 years of eligibility, which was bad math. So, but this is officially from the Conservation Commission, so any thoughts, comments, additions?
This is, you sign this, or is this from the commission?
We think that's the same thing, but it's for the commission, on behalf of the commission.
It's a draft in front of us.
Yeah.
I would just like to clarify, do we have, or have we previously had an open space and recreation plan committee, or have we just had an open space committee? Because the sentence refers to an OSRP committee.
We had an ad hoc OSRP committee 2 plans ago, actually both times. 2 plans ago, it was a good working group, conservation and planning together along with the consultant. The last time, it was basically the Old Colony Planning Council and Conservation and Planning, which were joined at the hip at the time. This was one person with the planner and the agent and one admin for both. It was us hanging on for the ride.
I think the question isn't the question the name of the committee?
Shouldn't, the letter needs to refer to an actual committee, correct? Not an ad hoc committee.
Well, it says revival OSRP committee. The word ad hoc isn't in here. I'm just telling you what the reality was in the past.
Well, so are we're looking forward to revival of the open space committee or the OSRP writing committee?
I think this is fine.
There was a committee. It had a name. I think the name was Open Space Committee, but I'm not sure.
I can
The
tell
open
you,
space committee is what appears on the website.
the Open Space Committee per se did not have a role in this Open Space and Recreation Plan because the Open Space Committee members were members of the Conservation Commission and working their butts off to do it under that heading. And
Well,
that's
sure.
why I call it an ad hoc function.
The listed board members are you, Lon, Frank, and Howard Dillon, and some guy I've heard of.
Well, I don't think that we need to occupy ourselves with that question now. There is a separate committee that actually does need to be revived, the Open Space Committee. That committee, when revised, will be part of, along with conservation and planning, part of the driving force to get the OSRP done. Other people could and should be on it too, including active recreation people, sports, parks and fields, for example. But it has not yet been revived. We can't give the details in here. We just say we want it to be revived. This simple document, though it may be flawed, imperfect, whatever, will be helpful to Tony to finish his application for the grant. which is a good thing.
I move to approve the letter as drafted.
Do I hear a second? Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? 4-0-0, we have a vote. Why don't I sign this?
Yep.
And then I'll hand it back to you.
You wanna keep that? No,
Well, whichever,
whatever one, you
or
know,
is this,
they're both the same, I just,
I didn't know if one was a photocopy, that looks lighter, this is better.
okay.
Thank you. Property space management update,
Attached to the letter to Tony, there's a letter to Camp Kawani that we referenced at the last meeting.
Hmm.
There is.
Second paragraph, first word. It's,
yeah,
instead of in,
yeah,
in
that's,
the interest, not is the interest.
There's a second one in alternatively,
oh, form should be from,
yes.
okay, got it.
Okay.
Chris, the hill that I know you spent some time on and Dave was worried about, I took a look at it, closely at myself too. We would, under the heading of this particular, little note, we just look forward to getting together and deciding what the right things to do are. They need not be very complicated, but that's such a nice spot. It'd be a shame to not do anything there, so we're proposing that we do something. And with those typographical corrections, any further thoughts?
I move to approve the letter as drafted to the Camp Kawani Commission.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? Once, I can stop by the office probably tomorrow, late morning.
Okay, I went up to see if John Pierce sent it to his email.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't get that.
Okay.
So if we have them, I'll let you know
Yeah.
if you want to stop and get that, and then, sign that.
I will, give,
Okay.
The next thing on here, the last real discussion, I have open space acquisition protection.
Property management.
Oh, we're not done with that. I thought we were talking about property management just now. Oh, there's a handout. Sorry, I didn't mean to skim right over that.
Last meeting, we were looking for
This is the.
getting the letter, the earmark letter, and this is what Tony did.
Oh, okay.
He said to pay attention to page 2,
Page 2.
which has, I never saw this before. That's the amount.
Landmark rehabilitation, 170,000. Provided further. Is this a new earmark, or is this the old one that we talked about?
I actually earmarked and said, oh, I'll get that to you, and then I
This-
stuck with that.
Is,
So I wanted the actual,
I actually read the letter that came with the old earmark.
Yeah, he didn't
and it
go
spoke
with
about
that.
3 things. Bonnie House, hospital property, South Hanson Boardwalk. There was nothing in that about library, Montponset neighborhood, landmarks, technical assistance, pedestrian. So this is entirely new,
grant money.
grant slash,
Earmark.
okay, earmark.
Okay. We're looking for the original, right?
Okay, provide further, not less than. Okay. I spoke too soon. This does include that. It's just,
Not the
he
actual.
has grafted it together with other points of income. Okay. Okay, the thing is, feasibility study proposal for boardwalk provided by Verdantis for $44,400, see attached, which I did not see. As I've expressed to people before, I think that's a ludicrous proposal. It is a complete waste of almost 1/3 of this money. Actually, more than it's like a quarter of this money.
Basically, we know what we want.
We know what we want. And we don't need a consulting firm to tell us. The town is very well equipped with internal resources. We do not need to spend money with Verdantis. I would say that to anyone.
So what do we do to remove that from, do we need to send a letter to Tony?
Well, I wanted to talk to the guy. That, we already had a sit down with him about 6 months ago about this. That was before the Hubble property acquisition became alive again. We didn't know what we were going to do. Tony understood very clearly, and Dave Manser, I believe, said that to do what we think needs to be done, we would either need to have an agreement with Hubble or buy their property. And that continues to be, I think, the only truly feasible, but highly appropriate way to use that money for that project. Tony is not aware yet of the excellent progress we're making towards the purchase, and I think that needs to be shared with him. And whatever his role is in this, we would like to, I think, steer it in such a way that we don't waste money with an engineering firm who would come into this knowing nothing about anything. They would have to educate themselves and then get out the computers and draw something that doesn't need to be drawn.
It would just be another study that would not be the.
We've been studying ourselves and we know the results. Thank you very much. This is, okay, I see the word earmarks plural up there. I spoke too soon.
Appropriated, yeah.
So thank you for clarifying that. But as far as property management and goes, I thought that the Hubble thing would be on open space acquisition and property management. I know that a small team of people, and we've already seen the photo, Chris and Steve and Dave, brushed out the new trail to the pond shore at the Last Meadows. Well done. What else should we say about property management at this point?
They said we didn't really have anything pressing, but this doesn't answer the question that we were trying to answer with this letter at the last meeting, which is how much of the money is actually allocated to the boardwalk.
It's not been said. We don't know. We can't answer that question. But we do know, based on what Dave has said, what our boardwalk would cost if we did it in the right place.
What was that number?
Dave knows it, I do not. But it was not.
The number was on here when it started. Like that.
It probably would have been way less, a fraction of what the Baptist would have. Our point of concentration is, again, so the next point on our agenda is open space acquisition. We're getting very close to being able to put together both for community preservation and for the Selectmen and Town Administrator to see a proposal, a purchase and sales agreement with Hubble for the 45 acres. This is, we've got to keep all parties working together, community preservation, a grant organization I'm in touch with, and these other folks.
$11,000.
11,000 to build.
11?
11,000 to build the boardwalk.
What was you? I thought things lower.
Yeah, well, wait, lower than what?
I thought lower than you were mentioning that it might have been. I thought it was like 45 or something.
Wait, they want to charge $44,000 to check the feasibility of building an $11,000 boardwalk?
And the boardwalk they proposed would very likely be in the wrong place.
Well, even still, it's you're going to spend 80% of the budget on checking it, build it and let it fall into the swamp.
We feel,
This is, we're talking about the boardwalk to get from Hooker Place onto the trail.
onto the Indian Crossway.
We're not talking about fixing the issue down the line where it's wet.
Yeah, the state knows what they have to do on their property, and no one can do it for them. We can cross a very wet area to get to the state's property, but it's property that we are in the process of acquiring. And there is a very vague, never drawn on paper, but only talked about in words by people who are less familiar with the area than we are, something to do with a boardwalk closer to the MBTA station. That's all private property.
Yeah.
The town cannot be in the business of planning boardwalks on private property, especially if they're not needed.
I just assumed since we were talking about that down for the place, how would that even work?
I am not prepared to spend any more time here at this meeting discussing things that are bad ideas.
Okay.
But our proposal is to, within a big circle that we draw called South Hanson, a boardwalk could be a very good idea in the place that has been looked at by Mr. Mansfield and others. So we are hoping to steer the ship of state in that direction. I hope Mr. Mansfield feels better soon, because his updates are always great.
Yeah.
Thank you to everyone for working with him on that. I think the only other thing before us is to, actually, let me do this. Let me open the floor to our associate member, Chris. Is there anything that you think we should say about property management? I know that we have a proposal, as we said a minute ago, to work with the Camp Kawani Committee, with Smitty's Bog and Camp Kawani meet to manage that little piece of property.
Have you been up there, recently?
Yeah, I was there about a week ago and looked very carefully at everything there.
What do you think?
I think that,
I put a couple of picnic tables up there too.
I'm sorry?
I put a couple of picnic tables up on the top.
Oh, maybe those arrived just after I went to take a look. How do they relate to where the log sections were?
They're on, like, either side of it. They're on either side of it.
Okay, yeah. We have the potential to create yet one more small destination within the Kawani and Smitty's Bog complex of things. And I have to take a look at the tables. That sounds good.
Where are they?
Top of the hill, on the inside of the row of log sections that Chris put there, to sort of symbolically fence off the top of the hill, because they were right there and they were free. Unfortunately, if someone wanted to roll them around, they're not that hard to roll. But we look forward to discussion and progress with Frank and his guys. I don't know if anyone knows this attendance is not 100%. Laura Bianchi and I went out to the two vernal pools that are up at the northern end of this, one on Sleeper property and one on the Smith's Bog property, and gathered all the data necessary to certify them both. The old sand pit, which is really now really a clay pit that holds water, northern end of Smith's, they had fairy shrimp in it. There's shrimp swimming around in the freshwater pool on the bog. It's pretty cool, as well as amphibian eggs and things. So it was a very worthwhile trip. And a few of you have heard me say this. I was walking out from the Sleeper, from that area, towards McQuon Street, where we had parked. Actually, in Pembroke, but the town line's right there. And this, Laurie wasn't with me, but I heard this tremendous rushing of wings noise right over my head. I looked up, and there was an osprey, a little higher than maybe what the top of the ceiling was, with a fish, desperately trying to escape from the bald eagle that was chasing it. And they were so close, and the birds are so large, you could hear the wings. It's like, wow, what's that noise? And these two large, impressive birds were like having a dogfight. We were just above the level of the small pine trees on the old, and for about 3 or 4 minutes, I thought, wow, I wish I had a video camera. But talk about an excellent look at a bald eagle. It was great. But performing fever. So that's the sort of wildlife area we got over there, and let no one mistake about that. Anything else before we do the
Speaking
inputs?
of wildlife, has anybody checked on our plover?
Oh, the bird out here?
Well, I haven't actually seen it. I know where it's supposed to be, but I cleared them though. I did, however, see it while I was in Rockland Trust. I looked out the window and it was on the side of the grass over there, so.
Killdeer, that's
Killdeer.
How did the cleanup go last Saturday?
Well,
Because I know it happened, but I wasn't proud of it.
it went well, but it's disturbing to drive around town afterwards and say, well, we didn't really put a big dent in it, but there was a lot of traffic.
The town,
2,067 nips in an hour and a half.
The town that is setting the bar for this sort of activity now is Halifax. They, around a core of people that started a few years ago, maybe you've seen it on Facebook, I don't know, but some of these people are well known to us. They have a Halifax beautification committee.
Yeah.
And their cleanup was not one day, it was 2 weeks,
Yeah.
including both weekends. And it goes on in between. And there's a tremendous amount of citizen involvement in Halifax. So more power to them. I wish that a core group, in addition to Green Hanson, would rise up and do this, because lots of people want to join this. So I'll do the quarter mile in front of my house, and then everybody wins. It's great.
That's a pretty decent turnout on our end, but yeah, I'm familiar with the Halifax beautification, Shirley Gap.
Shirley, and a number of others.
Yeah, they get out and do it multiple times a year.
Yeah. Appreciate that kind of time. We're busy running the commission here.
I had my 4-year-old son, and he was able to get into the areas that I couldn't get into to get all the netball.
See that poison ivy? Don't worry about it. You're too young.
Yeah.
I think we're ready to proceed with our signings here. Okay, probably I should.
I just need you to sign this part.
Okay. On we go.
Yep.
I picked up all the recycling from Thomas Mill and brought it to the transfer station. The people at the transfer station were amazed. They cleared out the thing, they compressed all the recycling, and then I put in just the recycling that made it to Thomas Mill, and it was another, I don't know how wide those are, 6 by 6 by 2 feet deep, just recycling that people sorted out that was picked up. Never mind all the trash.
It's nice that people will do that. If you sort it as you collect it,
Yeah.
it works so well.
But there were 3 green bags of the mix.
Yep.
Yeah, Marion counted on. She wanted to put that out.
Jack, you and I think, spoke about the checking. What's the terminology? The warrant for one of the things we're working on. There was a need to find out where the money came. It was the tracking down $100,000. There was a payment that was made to Dan Dell for their very extensive work on the trail.
We were reimbursed $100,000 by the state for the $100,000 in free cash that we used to pay Dan Dell and some other.
Okay, so that $100,000 that was apparently transferred to us can go back into free cash. Once again, who could be against that?
Oh, yeah, we
Plus,
discussed
that's
about
still
this.
taken 192.
Yeah.
Well,
Bring that up when we talk about all select board, the finance committee will give us $30,000.
we did. We actually, Frank and I sat there and explained to them that there was a large amount of money that we were not going to need. It was going to go back to free cash. And we're not sure that, in the face of the larger sums being worked on by other people, we're not sure how much weight that carries. But we do the best we can. Folks, I think we've achieved our agenda. And on that note, the chair would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Move the second to adjourn at, I have, 8:05. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? We stand adjourned.